Hey traders. I've got two main ES charts right here. One's adjusted on the left, the right, they're unadjusted. Okay. So basically, we saw early on yesterday morning that we were trying to build out a breakout base into ESs, which initially we started breaking down like it was a fake out, which I actually took the short, took a short position, I made some decent money, but ultimately we resolved higher in the breakout on the S's. So you know, kudos to everybody who took it. So we do have a potential range breakout on the unadjusted contracts. Okay, and so heads up on that. We're technically still inside of this on the adjusted contracts. So be very mindful of that going forward here. Uh, uh, we have to be very mindful of the situation. I would lean more to the upside than the downside, but you have to have both of these charts up to understand what's going on. Okay. Now, that being said, we have very light volume going on in the markets right now because of the holiday. And what they did, they sacrificed the Russell yesterday to push the S&Ps higher. And how do we know that? Because they built negative gamma at these highs here on the Russell. So we know that they were putting on insurance, buying put protection for Russell as the S&Ps went higher. So they were willing to sacrifice the Russell to push the S&Ps higher. So this is a trend that we probably should be very mindful that could continue for a few days at minimum. Okay, so it's not something we necessarily want to be jumping in here buying the dip on the Russell. If anything, this here's we yesterday gave us the daily signal of profit taking in this sector. So this is not something we necessarily want to be trying to buy the dip at this point. So be very mindful of that. Now it might go up and everything, but yeah, in theory you wouldn't want to do that. Okay. Other things, VIX. VIX, we're at the all important 14 here on the VIX. So there's a massive negative gamma wall right down here at VIX for the VIX at 14. So bottom line is, once we got down here below that 14, we saw yesterday positive gamma coming back into the VIX below 14 here. So we had a lot of uh, bullish bets on the VIX down here once it started drifting below the 14 yesterday. So be very mindful of that. A lot of traders were putting more than willing to put insurance below the put wall uh, yesterday. So the put wall is at 14. They were more than willing to buy calls below that put wall, and now it's pushing it up this morning. So be very mindful of that. And everybody thinks we're just going to go to the moon and stuff, and we might very well do that. But there is reason to believe that traders are getting, that the traders are nervous under the hood at these price levels. So be very mindful of that going forward here. Okay, and we still haven't even filled in the Monday gap up. So even the Nasdaq did not fill the Monday gap up. It's the closest to, or now the Russell may have. Let me double check yet. Uh, okay, guys. Put this down here. Can't. So basically, the dotted line there, that black line right there, that is the Monday gap up here on the Russell. We know that there's negative gamma building in the Russell. I would think that it's going to be the first likely to fill the weekly gap. So that would be my primary thesis coming into today's session, that the Russell actually gets the gap fill. Okay. Now, if we go to NQs, that would be the risk on scenario being risk off. Russell and the NQs are our two risk on scenarios. We came down yesterday on the Nasdaq, just missing the gap fill, so be very mindful of that one as well. We have not completed that Monday gap, so which we don't have to, but it's more likely than not that we could. So just be very mindful of that going forward here. We are into what has acted as resistance here on the Nasdaq. Okay, and so you have to think in the back of your mind if they're actually putting on protection for the Russell, that's our most risk-on area, that there's probably a significant amount of protection being put on at these levels on the NASDAQ as well. I didn't see any signs of that, but something to think about going into today's session. Technically, uh, very bullish here. Bottom line is, if we lose the pre-market lows, I would start looking to the short side. That would be put us back inside of yesterday's trading range. So heads up on that. So bottom line is, you zoom in here real quick here. This opening range high right here, that's acting as support in the pre-market here. If we lose this opening range high, which is that's exactly right there, you can put a line right there on the 30 minutes. If we start losing that, then we'd start shopping for the short side in today's session. And I'd be really concerned, like I said, with what's going on in the Russell, that we could very easily start seeing some slippage in today's session. Now I know it's a holiday shortened day, so be very mindful of that in your trading. We're not seeing a lot of action in the pre-market. Volumes are light. Let's see what's my scans say right here. Pre-market here. The things that are driving us up, which would be the most suspect for a correction if we were to come down, and that's something I'd definitely be watching here. I would be watching Nvidia. It drove us up. Keep a really close eye on here. If you go over here on the 2-hour, gives you some concept of where we're at. Technically, it didn't really. This was a breakdown point right here. We're right at that break point. So we have this area has acted as a resistance area in the past. So you have to be very mindful of that. That right there, see where the body hits right there? This has acted as, damn it, remove, right there. This could be a resistance area. Where do I want to put that? Yeah, right. This whole area right here could be resistance. Okay, guys, that could be resistance. We have looked above. We reached up into this area here. It's not very clean there. That was resistance right there. That's the same area where we rejected. Resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. We looked up into it already. We could be failing as we speak. Come down here in 30 minutes. Right now, currently acting as support. So we want to see if that becomes a failure or not in today's session. Heads up on that. That'd be one of my top watches, considering it was a driving force yesterday. We also had Amazon as a driving force yesterday. Still looking really good here above these highs right here. Going a bigger time frame. Amazon's above these highs. We're with inside of this trading zone here. It could very well not be completed on that one. That was the breakdown point right there. So this right here is act as a resistance area right here. Go back down to my 30-minute here, guys. Heads up, we tagged that resistance. Heads up on that. So heads up, this here is still valid. This is still valid as resistance highs. So even though we're putting in bodies above this area right here, we have to think this is a very problematic uh, resistance area. So be very mindful of that in your trading today. One other thing I'm really going to point out here is keeping a close eye on Nike. Nike, could be a dog of the Dow candidate to start the first of the year. So I've got this on watch. Got an alert right there in case it starts trying to change course here. So this is one of my ones that I'm keeping a really close eye on as a dog of the Dow. So any of you guys know about it. There's a theory that the worst performers on the Dow in one calendar year are the first ones that will try to outperform the following calendar year. Another one is United Healthcare. Okay, so I'm keeping a close eye on both of those. We're right down here in a potential buy zone. It does look like we're trying to accumulate. It's accumulation until proven otherwise. 2 hours. Okay, this is right down here. This could be accumulation. Pretty much equal lows here, so that's kind of bothersome. Uh, I wouldn't want to personally take it to the long side. Bottom line is when you're looking for a trending stock, you want the higher lows, higher highs. We got relatively equal lows here, so that's actually the current price action suggests a little bit more bearish action on United Healthcare. Okay. Any other things going on this morning? One second here. I did notice the cryptos were down this morning. Yeah, we're right down here into this multiple support on the cryptos. Just cannot get any life on the cryptos at all. So be very mindful of that. Another one was Tesla. Tesla, we have come all the way back down to the week open. So heads up on that. We came down to the week open Friday. Yeah, Friday. We looked below the week open yesterday, and now we're trying to bounce off the week open this morning here on Tesla. So bottom line is this is bullish until if we were coming in this morning below the Friday close, I'd be much more bearish. But let's keep an eye on that. See if it can hold above the 484.40. 484.40. Really important 484.40 here on the Tesla going forward today. The primary driving force in the S&P is going higher. That is the financials. So heads up on that. No big problems suggested here in the financials this morning. SMH, that's our semiconductors, potentially into resistance this morning. Where we at here on the 2 hour? So yeah, so we are resistance here, resistance here. A lot of times, see what we've done in the past. We hit that resistance the first time, we come back down, hit that resistance the first time, come back down to the bottom of the rectangle. We could very well be looking for the same scenario again, coming back down to the bottom of our resistance zone here. Here on the SMH, that would put us down to 360 early on in the session. So be very mindful of that in today's session. We could rinse and repeat that same process here. So that'd be my primary look to see if we do a rinse and repeat of this same scenario. Okay, so I think a lot of traders will probably be looking at that, and you're probably going to see a lot of people veering away from the semiconductors, waiting for a better price entry. Another one I definitely want to keep on watching, that is ARM. The rate of change has definitely changed here on ARM to the downside. So the strong momentum to the downside has kind of puked itself out here. See that really strong move down to the downside. Now this would be a contrarian trade. Okay, so be very mindful of that scenario. We do have clearly a head and shoulders breakdown going on here. So we broke this. This is our neckline right here. We broke it. There could be a lot more to the downside, definitely. But we are, like I said, seeing a noticeable rate of change in the bearishness here. So let's definitely keep that on watch. If you go down here on the, I have to go over my other chart. I got another study on that arm. Let's see how the 5-minute action was happening Friday or yesterday. So yeah, see down here we had some dip buyers down here on ARM. So we were getting a little bit of price action yesterday morning down at these price levels. So we had some sell action right out the gate yesterday, and then the buy pressure started coming in down here. And over here on the sizing, uh, no big sizing though. Pretty much equal sizing, the buy and the sell side on the large institutional orders. So the gold numbers here, they are the buy orders, large buy orders coming in, and the blue ones right there, those are the large sell orders happening in ARM. So we did get, it was a bullish day, but so you would think on a bullish day you're actually going to get more by the dippers in a bullish tape. So um, just be very mindful of that. Arm down here, there are some speculators coming in down here, and the sizing also, guys. If you notice, these sell orders were larger than any of the price action we got yesterday. So be very mindful of that. Ideally, what I'm looking for is a large order near the bottom, so I can't say for sure this is done. We don't have that outside alert. Hey, there's a big buyer stepping up here at these prices, and we just don't really have that here on the arm yet. But like I said, all this volume here was far greater on these days versus what we got yesterday. Uh, that could be an early indication of seller exhaustion at these low prices. So I'm going to be on a very close watch on Amazon this morning. Uh, Bottom line is, right at the lows yesterday, we had a large sell order came in. Okay, and it wasn't until we got the higher prices that we actually started seeing some buying coming back in. So just be very mindful of that going forward. Typically, if we get a big rally in the markets, a breakout rally in the markets, and we actually see sell side action near the lows, that suggests to me that it's less supportive, it's less strong than what you would otherwise expect. So be very mindful of this. We're into resistance this morning, so this could very well puke out this morning. So this is going to be one of my top watches this morning to see if Amazon reverts lower. Okay. Okay, that's just some of my ideas I got going on this morning, and good luck trading. Uh, uh, Remember, this is a holiday shortened day. Uh, the risk reward just might not be there to trade at all. So be very mindful of that.